Thank you, and it's lovely to meet you all today. I'm joined with myself, Mandy, who's from Quick Capital, and we'll discuss some finance strategies along the way as well, because that's very important part of everything. And then we also have Brandon, who's going to help us, with a lot of things that he does within the business, and he's a very big part of our business. We're also joined by Cherry, who helps us in the office with various things. We have a team of people. Not all of them are here, but what we want to take you through is how we do things. What are the eye-opening things that we can give it to you guys today, and from there, that thinking process can start a lot of things. Maybe not today, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 3 months, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a year. Who knows? But what we want to do is um, we just want to open up your mind to different opportunities that are available to people like you, people like us, and we want to make it a better place for you and for your family. So what we're gonna do is we have few presentation slides. We gonna divide that up, so that we keep it interactive with you guys as well. We don't want to bore you as well, because it's finance, it's property. We just want to keep it engaging with you. If you guys have any questions, you can ask in between, or we'll have a separate session right in the end as well. All right. So what I will do is I'll ask Brandon to start the presentation, and then slowly I'll join, Mandy will join, and we'll mix it up, and then we'll go from there. And sorry, before I go that, I really want to thank the organizers and everyone of you who are here to invite us to give this presentation, and special thanks to Cheeto to connect us with you guys. It's really good for us, and we really are passionate about helping migrant families or people who are new to the country, or they don't know have any connections, or they don't know the right people to do all these things that we're going to discuss today. So we really want to thank all the organizers and Cheeto for helping us to come up here and do the presentation today. So with that, I will hand it to Brandon. So he'll start, and then we'll come again. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, so my name is Brandon Stefan. I'm part of the Empowered team. Before we start, I want to thank God for providing us this opportunity to be able to present all the information regarding to property investment and finance and all of that. So I really like to thank God for this opportunity to be able to present in front of you lovely people. Also, like Manish mentioned, thank you Cheeto once again and the organizers for this opportunity. Empire 8, who are we? Well, in a nutshell, we are a wealth generating company. We help our clients generate wealth, and the vehicle that we use to generate this wealth is property. The fuel that allows this vehicle to move forward is finance, which Mandy will be talking about after we finish a few of our slides. So can I request you guys, so like Mandy said, we're going to try and make it as interactive as possible, because these topics are a bit heavy. So we try and make it as interactive, not a monologue. So can I get you guys to please stand up? Thank you. And can you turn to your neighbor and say, I am here
I am here
to learn
to learn
how to build wealth.
how to live.
Thank you. You guys hear how to sing?
Thank you, neighbor.
There you go. There you go. Well, you know what? This is a Christian event, but once I got up here and I looked around, I was wondering, what's a Magpie supporter doing here? I thought it was a Christian event. No, just kidding. Well, you know what? Sorry, buddy. Just had to say that, you know? So we live in an economic world, and money is a tool. God's word says the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money itself, it's the love of money. We need money for us to be able to move forward, for us to pay our bills, for us to be able to take care of our family, and to generate wealth. So we're here to show you how to generate wealth. And wholesome wealth is not only money. Wholesome wealth is got to do with, yes, part of it is money, but it also is wholesome relationships, it's wholesome health. So that's the holistic view of wealth. What we are doing is we are touching on a part of it, which is asset building. Now, Manish will take you through how it's done. We'll be answering two questions here. Why property? And how do we get to invest in property? So these two questions will be answered. But what I want to encourage you guys to do is ask yourselves this question if you haven't yet. Why do I want to be wealthy? Why do we want to be wealthy? I'm going to ask this lovely gentleman here. So, sir, why do you want to be wealthy?
To afford the basics and to live comfortably.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to ask my friend here. So, why do you want to be wealthy, sir?
I think so that I can be able to build in a life for my next generation.
Beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. God accepts Hollywood supporters into his kingdom. There you go. It is a beautiful answer. That's exactly what we are trying to do here. We are not trying to accumulate wealth for ourselves. We're trying to make a difference in our community. What I want you guys to know is investing in property is a very, very impactful investment. When you make a decision to invest in a property, it creates jobs. It's not just a decision where you get a home and you're able to build wealth. That one decision creates jobs. It creates jobs for tradies like plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, carpenters, all of them, estate managers and the sales guys, some of us, and property managers and accountants. So your one decision puts food on a lot of tables. Okay? And also, like God's word says, our friend, that a good person leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. So that's what we're here to do as well. We're here to make an impact on the community. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through what it's not also. So this session, am I in the way? I'm good? I'm good. So this session today is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's one where we're going to tell you how to harness this information and to use it to be able to build wealth over a period of time. Over a period of time. There's another elephant in the room that I'm going to kick out right now. We're not here selling anything to you guys in the end. It's pure information. We're here to equip and empower you with the information that you require to be able to better your lifestyle. And you can turn around and say, well, you know what? There are other investments that I can do apart from property. Yes, you can. But we will tell you why property. We're here to tell you why property. That job is Manish. He's got to do it. So this is a 45 minutes. And I want to ask these questions to you. So are you someone who wants to build generational wealth for your family like our friend there? Yeah. There you go. Are you someone who's working every day and night, but trying to make two ends meet? Are you someone, trying the hustle and bustles and wealth to create wealth and it's failing? Some of us are high income earners. We're paying 30 to 50% taxes. Or are we someone who wants a steady income through property investment but we haven't done it. Why? Because we don't have the proper guidance, we fear the risk, we don't have the knowledge. Well, it all ends hopefully today because we are here to help you with that. I'm not going to introduce Manish the second time. All of you guys know who Manish is. He's the vision behind Empire 8. But I want to tell you about the person that he is. One of the passions, or the passion that Manish has, is to better people's life. Whether it's his employees, whether it is clients, what he always has done is to try and make sure that we empower them to better their life. That lovely gentleman is me. I look better in person than there. Just saying. I'm a property strategist. I've worked with our clients and secured over 30 million deals. And I'd like to help each one of you guys, hopefully, if you guys allow me to. Now, there's this trick question. Well, it's not really a trick question, but it's a big question. How many people are trying to move to Australia right now? Many? What's the many like? Any numbers? Can I get any numbers? Anyone?
200,000.
200,000? That's a good number. That's a good number. But it's very low. Any other number? 5 million. That's beautiful. It's still slightly off though. It's 26 million adults. 26 million adults trying to get into Australia worldwide. And this is not a number that I just picked out of thin air. It is from the immigration department. 26 million. And do we know how many people actually get in and were successful? Come on. 530,000, sir. 530,000. Yes, yes. So the 530,000 are not all immigrants through permanent residency. They are immigrants, but some are students and all that. A big percentage of them are students. But the ones who get to migrate are only this number. 185,000 per year. 185,000 per year. And that 185,000 constitutes of you, and me. So we are the chosen ones. God's brought us here to Australia, given us this opportunity. I think the question now is, now that we're here, or we've been here for a fair amount of time, what are we doing with that time? We're here to talk about a short story. So I'm going to give you a short story. So when I say what are we doing here with our time, a lot of us are stuck in the rut, the everyday 9 to 5. Some of us are doing 12 hours, some of us are doing 14 hours. We're here paying our bills, paying our children's school fees, paying the grocery bills, buying Louis Vuitton bags for our wives. We're not here, so yeah, we could say that. Yeah. But we are in that daily rat race. What we're here to try and help you do is try and realize how you can build wealth through this property, like I said, as a tool. And I want you to tune your ears to the small story that I'm going to play. It's about two friends. Can you get the volume? Sorry? Sorry, technical.
there were two hard-working friends, Pablo and Bruno, who had to carry water from a nearby river to the village for their families. They worked hard and had to carry the buckets home every day. Pablo believed they should construct a pipeline to transport water to the village instead. Pablo asked Bruno to join him, but Bruno didn't commit. The whole village laughed at Pablo's idea. Despite ridicule from villagers and a lack of support from Bruno, Pablo persisted in pursuing his vision. The pipeline was successfully constructed. Years passed. People got older. Carrying those buckets became harder and harder. Pablo doesn't have to carry water anymore. The pipeline he created started doing the work for him. And the rest, no matter the age, they walk miles to get water or buy it from Bruno. Bruno can relax knowing his pipeline is there to support him. So let me ask you something. Imagine yourself now. What happens when one day you can't work? Is there anything to continue providing income? All of us will get old. And when that day comes, will you still be carrying the buckets? Or will your pipeline carry you?
True story, isn't it? True story. We're all in that rat race of trying to make things work for us. The funny part is they were two good friends, Bruno and Pablo. Only one of them had got the idea and executed it. He gets ridiculed by the villagers. He doesn't stop. His own friend doesn't support him. He does not stop. He still continues. There's another takeaway that I want to shed some light on. Yes, he made money through that pipeline, but that pipeline also helped the village. You had elderly folk in that village. They did not have to walk to that river or to that stream anymore. They didn't have to do the walking. So yes, he gained from it, but so did the others. And that's what we're trying to do here too. Yes, you build your wealth for your family, for yourself, but through that wealth, you get a chance to impact the community around you. The key takeaway, like we said, is the pipeline creation. So have I got a pipeline that is creating wealth for me on the side? And in order for that to happen, I need to make a deliberate decision. A deliberate decision to create one. In the next 40 minutes, you're going to learn how to control property portfolio worth millions of dollars without any deposit. I'll say that again, without any deposit within the next 2 or 3 months. Sounds crazy, but yes, we can. I'm going to invite Manish. But before I do that, I want to take you guys through a few testimonials. These are some of our clients who we've helped. Just a couple of them that we obviously couldn't show you all the testimonials, but just a couple of them who are in different scenarios, who've taken different property types based on their personal, choices and conditions.
After many emails, definitely felt reassured. So it's on done and done quickly. And the from staff has done this smooth process, and I'm really happy with the communication and everything that happened. Nice communication ongoing. Always really sympathetic clients. They're happy to help and do good from all the customers. Nice. 100%. 100%.
This gentleman actually is 23 years old. He's only 23 years old. Both him and his wife, I think they're 125, the wife, and they've managed to secure a property for themselves through a strategy that we put together, through the finance that Mandy helps them with, and they've got their own property. There's another one.
It's not really to the place. It's like beyond my expectation, you know?
Would you recommend this to anyone?
Yes, of course.
You would?
Yes, of course. The process is really easy with you, and your pointed is really straightforward as well. So I don't need to get a headache, you know, like the requires a lot of paperwork.
This lovely lady is a single mother. She doesn't have her own home, but she's got 3 investment properties. 3 investment properties. She does something called rent vesting. She's renting, and because of that, she has 3 investment properties. If she could do it, any one of us can do it. All it takes is making a decision first, having the right mindset, which we'll be talking about, and careful planning, which we are going to help you with, and strategy. That's our gentleman Shio. Don't worry, Shio, I'm not going to play that for you. I want to take you through these 2 pictures. And I'm going to ask you the question like it's asked there. Which one are you more likely to click? Iran bombing Qatar? Or a new walking track in Hawthorne? Yeah, the bomb. Exactly. You know why? Because unfortunately, we as humans, we kind of wired towards negative happenings. That kind of pulls us. We can have, trust me, you know what? You see this on your social media page, you're going to actually click and look at how good that Hawthorne walkway is, or, you know, that walk, or the cycle track or the walk track in Hawthorne. Now, you're going to check what happened in Qatar. How did this happen? How many people died? That's something that tunes us in. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is when it comes to property investments, a lot of us who are wanting to do it don't get to do it as well. Because why? We are bothered about high interest rates. We are bothered about the war. We see the tariffs that Mr. Trump thankfully has imposed on us. The pandemic. You know what? All of this has always been happening. It has been happening. It's happening. Maybe it'll happen in the future too. We don't have control over all of this. What we have control over is a decision. Do I invest now? I can't control the high interest rates. I obviously can't control the war. What I can control is a decision. Am I ready to make that decision with the information? Yes, I don't have adequate information, but today you're going to get more than adequate information. So let's jump in. I'm going to invite Manish to take over from here.
Thanks, Brandon. That was lovely. I think you made my life a little easier. I hope people are enjoying it so far. Yeah. So my discussion is a little bit more technical. So, and I'm not like as good a speaker as Brandon, but I'll try to make your life easier, and I'll try to make it as easy as possible. I use simple words so that everyone here can understand it as much as possible. My job would be to take you through some of the things that we do for our clients, which is using what you already have. Okay, you might have a home, you might have some money in the super and things like that. What we want to do is, we are not going to say to you, okay, you go and join a second job, do another business. We want to use what you guys already have and make something come out of it which is going to help you in the future. All right, like Brandon mentioned, it's not a get rich quick scheme. We want to do a very stable and sustainable job for you guys, so that you build your portfolio over the number of years. We don't want to buy today and we want our money to double in 2 days. Most of those schemes are either fake or you lose money on those. We are not going to do that. What we're going to do is, today in this presentation we've designed it in a way where it's simpler, and we just go through some like property investment secrets. So we divide that presentation into three secrets that I'm gonna discuss with you today. All right. So the three secrets that you will take away from today are these three. All right. First one is the wealth mindset. Mindset is gonna be the biggest key for you guys to move forward. Without a good mindset or knowing what you are looking for, it doesn't work for you. Okay, because as Brandon said, we get bombarded with negative news, negative politicians, whatever, family issues, things like that. We rarely get any time to think about ourselves. In our jobs, we go and work hard. We put everything, our heart and soul. By the fifth or sixth day, you do not have any energy to think about yourself or your family. You know why I know? Because I was in that position. 10 years ago, I was working in this job. And by the time I finish my fifth or sixth day, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do anything because there's other things you have to do, family, kids, and other things. But you do not think about yourself, and the years go pass and pass and pass. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. We just sleepwalk through our lives. And after 10, 20 years, we realize, guys, you should think about yourself and say, where did this time go? Could I have done something different? So our job is to use what you have and make it better. You might have some hidden resources that you have not tapped into as yet. You may either know about it or you may not even know about them. So we're going to try and cover those today. All right. So the first one is wealth mindset, and then the wealth booster framework. What is the roadmap we can take anyone to be a successful property investor? And then also the kind of properties we should focus on, because there's a lot of noise in the marketplace. Do this, buy this kind of property, buy that kind of property. We don't want to go into that. We want to make it as simple as possible so that you get the desired result that we're looking for in that investment. So these are the three things we're going to cover. I will invite Mandy in between for the finance aspect, which we said is very, very important. So the wealth mindset. Wealth mindset is like Brandon has mentioned, you should have a good relationships, family, physical health. The money part needs to be sorted out, and all those things are a total wealth mindset. But if we look at financially, we want to be okay. We want to pay our bills, but we also want to be able to create generational wealth. A lot of people want to invest for their kids, for early retirement, and for lifestyle purposes. Some people like to do holidays all the time. So but you have to have a base to be able to do that, and property investment can allow you to do all that. Now, before I get into things, I want to watch this video.
Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The poor mainly rely on a job. Whatever they earn goes straight into expenses. There are no real assets being built, which limits how they can live their life. The middle class earns more, but here's the mistake. When income goes up, spending and debt go up too. Bigger houses, car loans, credit cards. Most end up paying a mortgage for 30 years, then retiring. The rich think differently. When they earn money, they put it into assets first. Things like real estate, stocks, businesses, or intellectual property. Those assets create passive income. Rent, dividends, interest, royalties, and that income funds their lifestyle. That's the core difference. It's not how much you earn, it's where your money goes first. One of the smartest paths to financial freedom is property. While tenants help cover the mortgage, your wealth compounds quietly in the background. So when retirement comes, you're not stressed. You have income flowing in month after month.
All right. So, is there any takeaway someone wants to discuss? What's the takeaway from this video that we just watched?
Don't spend all you get.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Very right. Anyone else want to contribute into that? Yeah.
It is where you put your money first, which determines whether you
Exactly. That's the one. Yeah. Both are right. So what we're gonna do is, we get money from our jobs or business or whatever. The first step we do is, obviously we have expenses, the family expenses and other things. But also what we do is we spend on things that maybe we don't need. Maybe we don't need that Gucci bag. maybe we can do with a 40,000 car, but we go and buy a 80,000 car or a 100,000 car. Maybe we just go on an expensive holiday. The one of the best wealth generation rule is, when you get your money, try to save 10 to 20% of that. Put it away where you can't see it, and slowly that compounds, and that money can be used to do something else which will help you later in life. So I also want to make you alert to this graph here. So a lot of people, we earn our incomes from different sources. So this is a quadrant done by this guy, Robert Kiyosaki. The first time I saw this 10 years ago, it completely changed the way I looked at everything, like in terms of finances. So people, where it says E, it's the people who are employees. Yeah. So what we do as an employee, we go to work, we work hard for 5-6 days, and then we get money. Okay. But imagine in a situation where you're not able to work for 2 or 3 months. Do you think your employer will pay you money? After some time, they're gonna say bye-bye. Okay. So we don't have anything to fall back on. Now, some of us might be in the category of S, which is self-employed. It could be plumbers, trades, doctors, even, they work and then only they can get money. The moment they stop working, they cannot get any money. All right. So, and they also cannot control their time as well. Then on the B, there are business people. So they might be running big corporations, they have bigger headaches and things like that, but they still earn good money. They have more control and things like that. But they still have to do very hard work to get things going for them, or whatever results they look for in life. And then I stands for investor. The goal for all these three people in employee, self-employed, and business is to do investments, so that they are not physically present when they're earning money. With a job, you have to be physically present there. When you do smart strategic investments over a number of years, at some point you do not have to go to work, so that your money is actually working for you. And that's sometimes called passive income as well. And it's not going to get built in a day or two. It's going to take a while, which we can take you through. One of the examples I want to share, it's one of our favorite clients, Alina and Victor. They have done really well. So these are just 3 of the investment properties that they've bought through over the years. Look at these results. The total equity generated, like that's their equity. If they sell these property today, not only will they get the initial investment, but they will make a profit of around that 586,000. So over a period of 3 to 4 years, they've accumulated these properties, and those properties have gone up in value, and that's what has increased their position in life, and they can do a lot more things. So they're pretty much set with their life right now, and if they choose to retire now, they can. So that's just one example that I wanted to show you. Now, the next part, I will like to hand it over to Mandy for a bit, so we can discuss the finance side of things, because that is also going to be very important. So Mandy will discuss things like how finance works with the investment property, and then I'll take you to other steps as well. So I'll invite Mandy. He's a senior finance strategist from Quick Capital. He's helping a lot of our clients and other clients in setting up the right infrastructure for their properties, and so that, because property is one thing, the finance is the other. Both of them have to work together to make the recipe right. So let me invite Mandy on the stage so he can cover the investment strategies. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the great introduction. So I'll ask, assuming you guys have a mortgage, I'll ask a question to all of you. Who wants to pay off their mortgage in less than 30 years? Great. That's good. So yeah, we'll be sharing a couple of things with you, how you can pay off your mortgage in less than 30 years in a bit. So without sacrificing your life, without sacrificing your family life, doing double shifts or anything like that. So this is Quick Capital. This is me on the screen. I'm the director and senior finance strategist at Quick Capital, and I've held more than 6 years of experience and settled over $100 million in loans for my clients. We predominantly help people with home loans and also do other revenues like commercial loans, development loans, and SMSF lending, which I'll cover it in a bit. Moving forward, so these are a couple of testimonials I'll show you on the screen. So the first one being Elena. She was able to pay off her owner-occupied home loan and a brand new luxury car with our guidance. How cool is that? Now, moving on to the second one, Cheeto, right there on the top. So he was happy with our services as well. Frank being first home buyer, Chriselle being first investor, and she was really confused how to go ahead. But we guided her the way, and she was happy with our services. Now moving forward, Christina and Nisha both are first home buyers. They moved from New Zealand. We helped them secure the property with only 5% deposit under the government scheme. Miguel, being a regular investor, he comes to us every time for his property purchases. Okay. Imagine being completely mortgage free in your 40s or 50s, completely paying off your owner occupied debt. So we've put down practical strategies, proven strategies which work for you to pay off your mortgages in 7 to 10 years. And I'll show you how it works. So the first one, just by changing the frequency of your repayments. Now, I'm not telling you to do anything, it's just by changing from monthly to fortnightly or weekly. And how does that work? Because the bank calculate the interest daily. So it saves you tens of thousands of dollars when you do that. And how long does it take? You just have to call your bank. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. It's pretty easy, yeah? Now, moving on to the second one. Who here in the room doesn't know what an offset account? I assume everyone, but I'll still share with you how it works. So an offset account is a transaction account linked to your home loan, and that saves you tens of thousands of dollars in interest. Now, just to put that in numbers, just imagine a mortgage of $100,000, $1 million, and you've got a transaction account with a savings setting of $200,000. We help you link these two accounts, which means now you're just paying the interest only on the balance of it, which is 800,000, not the complete $1 million. That saves a lot of money, and it doesn't actually. You don't have to do much about it. It's just one-time thing, and then savings is doing the benefit. Now, moving on to the third one, which is making extra repayments. Now, just to put that in numbers, I've put down that by just $300 per month on a 500K mortgage can shave off almost 6 years of your 30-year mortgage. Now, I don't expect you guys to do the same for starting from now. You can start with $50, $100, anything. So even if you start with 50, it can help you shave off maybe 2 years, 3 years. So you gotta start somewhere. It's not the amount. It's actually a habit of you should have habit of paying something extra. Coming to the fourth one, refinancing for a better deal. So refinancing can work in different ways. So you can refinance for a better interest rate, any particular policies, cashback, any other thing. But when you do the refinance correctly, it saves you tens of thousands of dollars. And we always recommend to seek professional advice for this one. Now, moving on to the fifth one, making lump sum repayments. Now, some of the people might receive a bonus. Some people can get gifts from family or friends. You should try and put that money in your mortgage, which saves you tens of thousands of dollars in interest payments going to the bank. Now, I don't expect you to, if there's $20,000 coming as a bonus, you put everything in there. You can spend a little bit on your personal side, like 5,000, but the 15,000 should go in there. Coming to the sixth one, cutting back on unnecessary expenses. Now, unnecessary expenses could be anything, you could be overspending on your, excessive takeaways, or it could be some apps running at the background, the monthly subscriptions, or you could be buying some luxury goods like luxury bags, your Gucci shoes, your sneakers, or anything like that. So you gotta think of that if you really need it or not. If you don't, just put that money back into your mortgage. Then, lastly, seek professional advice. Now, by this one, it's last but not the least. This is the most important one because when you come to a professional, we've got multiple strategies apart from these ones which can work for you, personalized, and that can save you maybe 6, 7, 10 years, or maybe even we can help you pay off your mortgage in 7 to 10 years, depending on your situation. All right. Any questions so far? Yes.
We're talking about the offset.
Yes.
You know, changing to frequently, like weekly. How is it gonna work? Because I understand when you do the offset,
Yeah.
this offset is certain interest on your loan.
Correct.
But I'm now taking, let's say I put 10,000 in the offset, and I'm taking out 1,000 every week. How is it gonna work
So
to offset it?
So offset works a bit different. So there are two different strategies. The one you're asking is offset and putting extra money. So extra money pays off your mortgage.
Like you are paying weekly from the offset account. Because usually you pay from the offset account to pay the mortgage, right? Most of the time.
It's not necessary. You can still have different accounts paying the mortgage, but yeah, you should use the offset account to pay the mortgage, or other way as well. We can explain it to you later on after the meeting as well, after the conference. Another big question I've got here: who wants to buy a property with zero deposit? Yeah. I was expecting more hands. So I'll show you how. If you've got a combined superannuation, household superannuation of 150,000 or above, we can help you buy a property, and that's done through investing your money. Investing through superannuation. Now, how does that work? I'll just show you in a bit. See this one. This is your super. And every one of you have a super, maybe a Hester account or maybe a Australian super or anything. What is this money doing it for you? And when was the last time you actually had a look on that statement? Maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. Yeah. So we don't actually pay attention to this and how much it's growing in value. But when we actually help you set up an SMSF, which is self-managed super fund, with the help of an accountant, then you can buy a tangible asset, which is a property, from your super. And it's pretty easy to do this thing because you can control this. On that side, you don't have any control over it. It's like a public transport. You have to go where everyone's going. But in this one, you have full control. Now, there are a lot of benefits. I'll just run through key benefits of these ones, which are: there's no deposit required, as I just mentioned. Second is there's no capital gains tax when you sell the property after retirement. So if you keep the property for 10, 20 years and after retirement you sell the property, there's no capital gain tax. Just imagine property going $1 million, $2 million, and there's no tax going to the government. It's all going into your personal account. Now, the last one, it's the most passive way of investing because everything is taken care of by your employee super. All right. Now I'll be handing over to Manish back. Yeah.
How does this often talked about issue of
Negative gearing?
That fits into all those things that you described earlier.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
You know the negative gearing.
Negative gearing. Yeah, so negative gearing works in different ways. So negative gearing inside super works differently to outside super. We can explain it to you in detail after our conference. I'll be hanging around for any questions. So if you want to come and see me at the back, we'll be able to help you out. And I'll be handing over back to Manish for this one. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. Thanks for that. All right, so that was the finance bit, which is we discussed. It's really important part of how we do things. There's a big difference in how many like people go to banks, you know. So when you go to CBA or NAB or a Westpac, they will just tell you what they think. And we many times we found when they go to the bank will say, oh, you can only borrow 300,000. But when it comes to a broker, they might say, oh no, you can actually borrow 550. Because what a broker does, he will go to 5 or 6 different banks. He's not going to go to just one bank. He's going to check your situation with 5, maybe 7 banks, and then come out with a solution for you. So that makes it very fast and easy for people to be able to invest in properties. If you just rely on the bank, sometimes you get limited. If you don't get the right person in the bank, they can make your life very hard, and it becomes a very difficult, challenging situation to grow your portfolio. Now, quickly, what I want to do is I want to go through this wealth booster framework. What does that mean, or how does it look like? So let's say you have the right mindset, you want to do the property investment, but how will it look like over a number of years, and how do we construct that for any individual client? So if you look at this graph here, so we've divided it to 2 stages. One is your personal property investments, and some people can have property investment through their super as well. Imagine you have a home and you've had it for like the last 3 or 4 years. Do you know that home can act as an ATM for you? You can actually withdraw cash from there and use it to buy another property. Do people here know that?
Yeah.
That's good. So what we're gonna do is like how we said, we are gonna use whatever you existingly already have and help you purchase few more properties if that's your goal. All right, if that's convincing enough for you. So having that property, some of you people might be, you don't have a home, but you still can like do things which we can discuss individually. But for people who have the existing home, what we can do is we can start with the journey where we say, okay, use some of the equity from your home. We can withdraw some money out of that particular home which you've had for a number of years, and then go to a different bank or the same bank and help you get another investment property. So the deposit for your the new investment property comes from your existing home. If you have savings, that's great. But what if you don't? Most of our clients, 90 to 90% of clients do not have deposits because family, so many expenses. But what they do have is maybe a home, okay, and that home has grown over the number of years. So we check their salary and stuff. We help them purchase this investment property, which is number one. Okay. At the same time, we will ask the question: do you have the SMSF, or sorry, do you have much money in your super? If the answer is yes, then we encourage them or we guide them that this property investment through super is also possible, as long as they meet the criteria. If they meet a criteria, suddenly they have two investment properties in a very short span of time, and this process can happen within 1 to 3 months, depending on your particular situation and things. So, like, everyone doesn't want to maybe accumulate 5 6 properties. Some of you might say, I just want one property that is good for me. That's fine too. Everyone's goal is different. You can say I want 10 properties, you can say I want one property. It's all right. Yeah. So, but if things are going well, what we want to do is then review your situation every year or every second year, and we review everything again like the first time, and then say, okay, now you're eligible to buy another property, and so on, the third and the fourth. And that's depends on your hunger and your desire, what you want to do, with your investments. If you are someone who's wanting to take this path and grow the investment portfolio, we are here to help them. Same thing can happen with super. After some years, you might accumulate much more super, and then you can buy another property. So, like we said in the beginning, it's not going to happen in 1 year, 2 years. We're going to stay with you for the next 5 to 7 years. So, every year, if you review your situation, come up with a plan. If it works very well, then you go on to the next stage and next stage. Now, any questions on this one here?
With a superannuation, does it have to be 150 or it can be?
It's good to have 150 and above or even more. But sometimes we've done strategies where people have 130, but they also have equity in their house, and they don't want to buy anything or they can't buy from the equity. So you can put maybe 50-60,000 for that house and combine it with your super money and buy a property through that as well. There was a question at the back. Sorry, here.
How good is this compared with the regular super? I
Yes.
ask because in terms of returns in the last few years, it seems the regular supers have been doing well.
Yes.
And also, when we factor in the issue of the
Maintenance.
fees to manage the self-managed super and the likes.
Yes.
And potentially the downsides of things like COVID,
Yes.
war in Iran right now,
Yes.
which might take a hit. And I mean, in Victoria, we have seen so many ridiculous taxes coming
Yes.
from the government that are making property investments less attractive.
Yes.
So how should that we or all to compete?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that question. It's an important question. So all the super funds, doesn't matter which one you have, usually their return is around 8%, over a number of years. So when you look at investments, you don't look at 1 year, 2 years, you look at a 5-year history or a 10-year history. On an average, they return 7 to 8% for all the super. So now imagine you if we look at this property here, the first investment property under the super, which we put. Let's say your balance in the super is 200,000. Let's say everything goes really well and super funds are doing very well. After 10 years, how much money you will have? Let's say 400,000. Let's say the money doubles. From 200, it goes to 400,000 in about 10 years. Yeah. But if we have that 200,000, sorry, and we put that money to use and buy an investment property, what happens with property is actually leverage. By leverage, I mean you put 10 to 20% of your money, but the rest of the money comes from the bank. So suddenly, if your investment is not 200,000, it's like 650,000 or 700,000 because you borrowed some money from the bank. When you property generally doubles in value in Australia, if you bought a good property, it will double in value 7 to 10 years. In between, like you mentioned, in Victoria, we are having rough time for the last 2-3 years, but doesn't mean it will stay the same. And that's why we keep encouraging our clients, when the times go tough, do not bail out, do not sell those properties, because you wait another 2 years, how the Victorian market will change. We just need maybe a change of government, like you're saying. They've made it very, very less attractive in the last 2-3 years with all these taxes and stuff. But things will change. Perth did not do well for many, many years. Same with Queensland. I'll show you an example on how things change very, very quickly. Queensland properties at 460, no one wanted to buy back in 2020, 2021. Because people said, oh, there's always floods, there's cyclones, this and that. Now people don't care anymore because those properties have gone almost double in the last 5 years. So some years will be rough as well. It's not always going to be a bed of roses. So you have to ride those out. But if you have the mindset, okay, it's gonna have some trouble 1 or 2 years, but if I keep going, I will achieve the results. So generally 5 to 10 year is a good period to judge any property investment. So coming back to your question, so your investment of in super, let's say it's 200,000, but in a property it becomes 700,000. If the property doubles in value, a 700,000 property doubles in value in 10 years, it becomes 1.4 million. Let's say you still had a loan of 500,000 and you sell that property, you pay this 500,000 to the bank, and still you end up with $801 million. So that's the leverage part of the property that we always encourage our clients to understand. You can put money in cash or shares or crypto and things like that, but where is the leverage? Leverage comes through property. And within your super company, you will also save some tax. Like someone asked regarding negative gearing. Yeah. So negative gearing is when you can, like, if you're living in your house, you cannot claim a single dollar from the government. They will not give you anything. Doesn't matter you do a renovation of 50,000. But when you have an investment property, they help you claim the bank interest, the council rates, water rates, everything. And not only that, you can also depreciate the value of the house as well. Like people are living in that house, the tenants are living in those houses, yeah? So they're using, so the value of the appliances, the walls, it's slowly coming down. You actually claim 10 to 15,000 every year on those properties. That also brings me to the tax part. If you look at the top part, if people a lot of the families we meet, they're paying like 50 to 60,000 taxes every year. You know, maybe the husband's working, they're paying 30, 40,000, and maybe the wife's also working. Maybe she's paying 20 and 30. Overall, it's like 60,000 from one family. Anyone like paying taxes here? No one does. If you do smart property investments, each of that investment property, the investment property number one, can save around 6 to 7,000 in tax. I'm not talking about the super property. I'm talking about the equity or personal properties. One property. Imagine in 5 years' time you can accumulate 3 properties. 3 into 7 is 21,000 per year. For a family paying 50 to 60,000 in taxes, they can reduce it to 40,000. If 20,000 doesn't look a good amount of money, I think it is, but 20,000 over a 10-year period is how much? 200,000. That money goes into you and your family, not the tax office. And you know, when you pay money to the tax office, how do they waste with all these different things? You pay everything they try to do, they want to tax you more and more and more. But if you're smart, these are the legal rules that ATS had developed. So you can actually use to your advantage and reduce your taxes. So I'll keep moving. So this is the structure that we have. The question sometimes we get, okay, Manish, you're saying you buy all these properties. Obviously, there will be some loans as well. How you sleep with that, with carrying those many loans? Yeah. So as long as you bought a good property or a good asset, you do not worry too much about your investment loans. The only loan I will worry about is my home loan. My goal should be buy these properties on this side, but at the same time, try to reduce the loan on my existing property. So what we do for our clients is the first stage we take them through is try to help them buy as many properties as possible in the stage one. It could take 1 year, it could take 5 years. As long as the banks is willing to pay them the money or borrow the money, we help them buy those properties. Once the bank says no more properties for this individual or this family, so we stop, and then we sort of try and see what can be done to in phase number 2, which is the debt reduction. How do I go back?
The bottom one. The bottom one.
Yeah. So then the second phase we take them through is how we can reduce the mortgage, which Mandy can help you a lot with that. So accumulate a lot of properties, then how can I reduce the mortgage on those ones as soon as possible? Now, once you pay those mortgage, then you can enjoy the rewards. Now, just to take you through, I'll go back a little. So let's say we started today. One of you started today, and over the next 5 years, you bought 3 investment properties. All right. So now, after 5 years, things change, life changes. You might say, "Oh, Manish, I've had enough. I don't want to take too much debt. I want to take it easy now because I've grown old, or I don't have that much will now." What you can do is all these properties after 5 years they have grown in value. You could just potentially sell one of them. Make the investment property number 1. Cash it out and pay off the loan on either your home or other properties. I'll always recommend pay off your loan first on your owner-occupier property, but that's your choice and that's what you decide. So imagine being able to be in a position where maybe you have 2 properties in the next 5 years, and after 5 years or 10 years you just sell one of them and pay the loan on the others one. It's a smart way of doing it. A lot of people, what they're doing is they're trying to do it very hard way. The hard way is to have this property, your own owner-occupier property, and work hard, double shifts, keep paying off this loan and try to take it out, which many people do. You have a question there?
Yeah. What advice should you give to someone who is going into retirement in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years.
Us going to retirement very soon.
Yeah, very important question. So the later you're in life, the more action or fast action you should be taking right now. So in your position, like we recently, I think we had an example. The couple was 60 years old. We helped them buy their house. They never wanted to buy a house, and they also want to do a property investment through the super. As long as you're working, the banks will still be willing to give you those loans. Okay. But we have to do it in a smarter way. The sooner you can do it, the better it is, because you don't have enough, working life to be able to pay off those loans. So we have to explain to the banks very properly that this is a situation, we want to do this, we bought a very good property here, and we can, either sell it off after 10 years. When you retire, you can actually sell it off as well and that will help you for your retirement and things like that. So the earlier you start in life, the better it is. But it doesn't mean if you're 55, you're 60, it's over for you. No, it's not. We've had multiple clients in that situation as well, and that's also a good time to start. Another question.
Does this strategy work equally regardless of a person's immigration status?
Regardless of what?
Immigration status.
Usually permanent residencies, but certain visas can still get loans, which is a great thing. You know, some if it's a short temporary visas, we cannot get loans. But for some, any individual situations can be discussed by Mandy. He will help you with different visa types and stuff. But some visas definitely you still can get the loans. That's not a problem. It's mainly about loans and how the government treats you in terms of whether you have residency status or not, and whether how much stamp duty extra you need to pay. So a lot of people from overseas still buy as well. People sitting overseas are buying, but they have a lot of cash. They just throw the money. People from China and places like that, sometimes they have a lot of money. They'll just throw the money and buy property and pay like a higher stamp duty, higher tax, and things like that. So let's move on. One more example is these people here, Emerson and Leah. This is just two of those properties that they bought. So like I was saying, places in Queensland and in WA, Western Australia, Perth, they've grown really, really fast. They were stagnant for a long period of time, which is happening right now in Victoria. So if someone invests in Victoria in the next 1 or 2 years, they're likely to gain a lot of money in the next 2-3 years. Because all these cities have become very expensive now. And funnily enough, Melbourne is one of the cheapest cities if you compare the whole of Australia, it's becoming one of the cheapest. It's at the 4th or the 5th place, which is very, very strange. Normally it's the second highest after Sydney. So these people have accumulated an equity of around 528,000, and it hasn't taken long, like 3 to 5 years. That's the time frame we're talking about here. Now we go through this, the third secret, which is the tri-pillar prosperity plan. What is this? So remember, we talk about the mindset, and we've also spoken about the blueprint or the footpath that we're going to take to get our property portfolio to a level where it's sustainable. Now, I also want to cover what kind of properties we sort of recommend to our clients. So we always recommend clients, there's a lot of information. Online media, friends, family, banks, real estate agent, mortgage brokers, everyone says different things. What we try to do as a company is we want to make that information as simple as possible, focus on very small things which have a big impact on your property investment journey. Okay, so what are those things? There's 3 things. One is capital growth. That's the number one thing I look for when I'm trying to find a property for myself and for my clients. If I'm buying a property at 600, 700,000, I want it to grow at a certain pace so that it becomes in 10 years time 1.2 or 1.4. Because if I don't get the capital growth, I will not be able to purchase another property for a very long time. What happens is I want this property to grow so that I can get equity out of this property as well to buy another property later on if I'm eligible, right? So that's the process I want to do. I want to keep this as a base. The property should keep on going up in value. The second one is good rental income. Without rental, it's not going to work. We need tenants. Tenants are like our partners. They're not our enemies, or they're not someone we want to make money out. They are going to be our partners in that whole process. So 70 to 80% of your investment property will be paid by the tenants. Okay, because they cover a lot of your expenses. Without them, so we want those properties which are in high growth areas. They'll always demand for renting, and that's how we sort of sustain our portfolio. The next one is tax, which we covered a little bit before. But if I have good tenants and I'm also saving $6,000-7,000 for my investment property, these 3 things will actually help me build that framework that we did before. All these 4 and 5 properties that we want to do, So that's the very basic things that we cover for our clients. If any of the properties doesn't follow these things, I just discard that property and I'll move on to the next property. This is one of our very good clients. Again, one of the people who do not have their own house. They do not own their own home, but they have free investment properties. Why? Because they want to live close to the city. Everyone's different. They didn't want to move to outer suburbs or do things because their kids' school were at a certain place in Essendon. So they said, I can still invest in property. They strategically invested, in different parts of, in Queensland, in Melbourne, and things like that. And overall, they also have around 500,000 equity sitting in their portfolio, and they still want to do a super investment very soon with us. So from here, we've covered three things: basically the wealth mindset, the wealth booster framework, and tri-pillar prosperity plan. So these are the key things that I think you should take away from here. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna also, I also wanna give you this gift, which is basically an ebook that is hand designed by our company. It has, I think, close to 100 strategies that we put in place for our clients. If you want to use, take advantage of this, there's a barcode here which you can just download the file from, and I'm sure you will actually find really, really valuable information, and that will actually prevent you from making a lot of mistakes that the new property investors make. So, so from there, I think from here, I just wanna, you got a question there?
Yeah, just a quick one.
Yep.
The big super companies, or probably most of them, they do invest in different kind of things.
Yes.
But say for the
SMSF, yeah.
whatever it's called, yeah, you'll be taking more like all your super into, kind of.
Yeah, your own super fund. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the risk there, what can be done to kind of minimize that?
What happens when you have your industry funds? Let's say you have, let's say for example, 150,000 in your Australian super, or or whatever fund you have. What happens is an accountant. He helps you build a self-managed super fund. What a self-managed super fund also is just like a bank account as well, which you control. Okay, you will get the bank account, and the money gets transferred to that bank account. From that bank account, you can pay the deposit for this property. How to keep it secure is just like a normal bank account. So there's other technicalities to it. The government wants you, it allows you to do this SMSF investment, but they also don't want you to lose the money because it's your super money, it's for your retirement. So what they do is they set up two companies for that. One company will hold your money that your super has. Let's say you had 250,000, and we used maybe 170 to 180 for buying that property, and you still have like 70-80,000 sitting still in your super. That will go into a separate company under a bank account. Yeah. On the other side, the property will be held in a separate company. So there's two companies that you create under you. Yeah. The property is held in that company. Anything wrong happens to that property, let's say whatever, anything can happen. But let's say someone sues you or whatever, that any compensation for that thing will only go through your property. They cannot touch remaining of your super, they cannot touch any of your personal assets or things like that. Is that your question? Is that what you were asking?
Well, my question was mainly on the risk of having all the funds for one type of.
Oh, one type of, yeah.
So do you recommend, say,
separate to shares and stuff? Yeah.
Do 150 for this, and
you could. Let's say, you have enough money. Let's say you have 250 or 300,000. You use 160, 170 for your property. You could use the remaining money to still do, either keep it in the Australian super or whatever, or you can do some stock investments and things like that. So that's how you diversify into different places. If you're not comfortable just putting every money into your super. But traditionally, Australian property market is very, very secure as long as you buy the right property. We do not go for any apartments. We generally try to really avoid townhouses as well. We want to buy standalone houses. As long as we are buying standalone houses, we are in a good position. We do not want to buy anything with a big body corporate fees and things like that as well. Yeah. Question?
Just wanted to that do not forget, if you purchase a house on your super, do not forget about the insurance, and so probably you can also do maybe what they call income protection as well as insurance, because most people will forget, because your super has probably
Yes, yes, yeah. So there's different strategies that we have for people. Some people, if they move out money from their super, they cannot get any insurance elsewhere. So sometimes what they do is they just keep 10 to 20,000 in the existing super and still roll out everything else to buy this property. So, or if they are able to get a better insurance outside, they'll put all the money into the SMSF and buy the insurance from there, basically. So different strategies for different people. It depends on what suits them and things like that. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, so it's actually not a question, but maybe just a comment, just
Yep.
to respond also to my presentation. So most of the time when people hear about SMSF, they always think about property, right?
Yes.
But it's just a vehicle
Yes,
that will
it is.
allow you to invest in property, or you can also do other investments even within that SMSF as well, like gold
Yes.
and painting, things like that.
Yes, yeah.
So
You
it
could
just
do
doesn't
gold.
issue just property. You can actually invest in other things too.
Yeah, you could do gold, crypto, whatever. As long as you don't lose money and make good money out of it, that's it. Yes.
So my question now is, why property? Why not ETFs? Why not other things?
Yes.
Because those other things, they seem to be having a better return than property.
Yes, it seems to be because when like I explained leverage before, if I have 200,000 to invest, if I invest into ETF, they're not going to tell me, okay, you can invest in 600,000 worth of ETFs. So that return is looking attractive on 200,000, yeah. But when I do property, I can take that 200,000, buy a maybe 700,000 or even $1 million property. So what is my investment? My investment is that $1 million, and the return that I will get is on that $1 million. And in saying that, I also will save some taxes because I will claim all these things, um, depreciation, council rates, water rates, bank interest, and things like that. So that's how I differentiate between the two investments. Yeah. Yes.
Right? You may have a number of people that don't meet that 150K threshold.
Yes.
Right? Maybe a number of people are still at about 80 or so K in their super.
Yes.
How easy is it for a number of people to come together, right, to prove?
Yes, yes. So that's a good question. Yeah, a lot of people have, sometimes you up to any self-managed super fund, up to 4 and 6 people can join together and they can buy a property. As long as you guys have a good understanding between you, that is recommended. Okay. So if you pool together funds and you can want to buy a property, that can be done as well. But before doing that, we try to find different ways. So when someone comes to us, we try to talk within the family how much total super they have. Mandy has helped so many people where they had like 130, but they need an extra 30, 40,000. We just take equity out of your house and put that contribution into your SMSF and still be able to buy that property. So there's different ways to do that. You can join 3, 4 people, 5 people, do it with your kids, other family members. As long as you have a long-term plan with them, then it's fine. So you could do that as well. All right, so let's move on. So I've done the 3 secrets. I hope it was very, very informative for you guys. Now I want to hand it back to Brandon, who will sort of close his presentation and also give you some other pieces of advice that he has. Thank you.
Thanks, Manish. Wow. That was a lot of information. So we left after all the information that we've got and all the secrets towards property investment. We left with 3 choices. Do it yourself, shake hands with me, or do nothing. Now, when a lot of us try to do it ourselves, when we say do it ourselves, a lot of us get information from different sources. It could be that I go to a broker, I go to my accountant, not my broker, but you can go to your individual broker, accountant, or a barbecue with the family. They go, you know what, I bought here, this is a good place, you must do this. Or don't do this because I lost a lot of money. So they basically give you a lot of advice based on their experiences. It might not be factual. And then what happens is when you collect so much of advice off internet, like your realestate.com, the news, what the news is telling you, which is always about 3 months old, and your friends and your family, you tend to get confused. And a lot of people, when they are confused, they tend to make the wrong decision, or because it's conflicting advice and conflicting information, you choose to do nothing at all. What I would recommend, obviously, is to join hands with a professional like us for us to help you through this journey to make the right decision with the right property. Now, you can also choose not to do anything, and not doing anything also will cost you. There is a cost to inaction. If I act on it today, there is a cost and there's a profit that is associated with it, with that action. But if I don't do anything, obviously no profit, no action, and there's a cost because property prices keep going up. My salary, my income does not go up in comparison. Inflation is going up. So I might lose out. So there is a cost for not acting. Now, why do I say come to us? Because this is how we can help. We've partnered with different professionals through the whole property cycle. Whether it's finance, or a conveyancer, or a property manager, a property accountant, a coach like us. All of these individuals, all these professionals work towards one common goal that we already set before. Whatever goal you've got, we help you realize it, and all of them work towards that one common goal without giving you conflicting advice. Planning and strategy is something that we do as a company, property strategists. Investment and finance is what Quick Capital does. That's Mandy. Again, research and acquisition also is something that we do. There is a sourcing criteria that we follow quite dearly. It's not any property anywhere at all. Manish was referring to the tri-pillar prosperity approach. That's what it is. We look at areas which have capital growth, areas that are where we are getting a good return on your investment through rent. Post-purchase management, that's something else also that we look at. We help you with an exit plan to sell your property. Or also, we also look at managing the property. So we've tied up with different property managers all across Australia who can rent out your property for you. And then the most important thing that we do is we stay with you until you say, thank you very much, I'm fed up of you. Hopefully you don't do that. But as long as you're good with us and you stay with us for the next, we try and stay with our clients for at least about 7 to 10 years. We try and stay with them for at least about 7 to 10 years, and we review their position every single year, their financial position, their personal position. We look at it every single year, and we help them with advice in terms of making tweaks for them to keep growing that portfolio. So that's what we do. I'm not going to tell you why you need to start now. We have a few testimonials as well. The same lady, Elena, who we've helped with my property, and like Mandy said, not only did she pay off her home loan, but she also got a nice luxury car. You guys want to know what's the luxury car? It was a Land Rover Defender, boys. Yeah, Land Rover Defender. So I'll leave you guys with this. Firstly, want to thank each one of you guys. We asked for an interactive session, so can you guys give yourselves a hand? Go ahead and give yourselves a hand because it was very, very interactive. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for interacting. I'm going to correct a statement that I made when I said that we probably are wired negatively. I know you guys know that we are all made in God's image and likeness, but we get fed with a lot of negative information constantly through the news and through different sources. That kind of crosswires us, and that's the reason why we move towards negativity. But I can tell you this, that today, if you decide that you want to invest and you want to make a better life for both yourself and your children and your children's children, we're here to help you. So God bless you and have a beautiful conference. Thank you guys. Thank you once again.